and we are now flying the dragon. Hello you beautiful enchant people, and welcome back to another video. Oh, and here's the Enderman. But yeah, you might be wondering what I'm doing in the end, and that's because I have something pretty cool to show you that is related to the end. So, since the first time I laid my eyes upon the inner dragon, I've had this feeling of, man, I wish I could like ride or tame this thing, and yeah, for a long time it was impossible for me, and honestly, if I were to tell myself from 3 years ago that I would be able to tame the Ender Dragon, I wouldn't believe myself, but here we are. So I have created a behavior pack slash function file thingy that allows you to tame and ride the beautiful beast herself. So yeah, let me show you how to do it. Okay, so we're back here in the overworld, and yeah, you might be wondering, well, you're saying that you used command blocks to do this, but I don't see any command blocks, and you would be correct to assume that. To do this, I try to make it as simple as possible for you guys. So you can actually create this in your own world. You will only need one single command block and obviously a behavior pack that you can download. Now, to get the command block, it's pretty simple. All that you need to do is to type this command, give @self command block, and you'll get yourself a command block. And then what you need to do is to download the behavior pack that I linked in the description, and you can just install that under behavior packs in your world settings. So as you can see, over here we have Rideable Dragon, and then I have a bit of a tutorial here on how to use it again. But obviously you guys don't need that because you're already watching the video. So to do this, what you want to do is place down your command block anywhere in the world. If you're planning on doing this in a survival world, I would recommend maybe placing this at like Bedrock level and maybe encasing it in Bedrock just to be safe. But yeah, when you have your command block, you want to open up it and change it to a repeating command block and change redstone to always active and make sure that the lane ticks is 0 and conditional is unconditional. Then in this command input section, you want to write function space dragon. That's literally all that you need to do. Those two words, function, dragon. That's all that you need to do. And if we open it up, you can see here we have successfully executed 35 function entries. Now, the function entries I'll get to a bit later on, but basically it's a simple way to make command blocks. So this thing is made of command blocks, but the command blocks are sort of hidden. So you might be wondering, where is the dragon? I still don't see a dragon, and that's because I tried to make this as vanilla as possible. So to do this, you're going to need, to summon the dragon, you're going to need the Ender Dragon egg. You're going to need one of those as well as a Nether Star. So I tried to make it like kind of you have to kind of pay to use it, but you get these items back once you get rid of the dragon. You'll understand a bit in a second. So if I quickly switch to game mode S, we're going to do this in survival. So all that you need to do is to have that command block, the behavior pack, and then place down your dragon egg and take your nether star and throw it on top of the dragon egg. Now, just take note, it cannot be around the nether star or around the dragon egg. It literally needs to be right on top. So if you throw it over there, it won't work. If you throw it really close to it, it won't work. You need to place it on top of the dragon egg. So if I can just quickly no, the hitboxes are kind of confusing, but okay, there you see, we get this giant X in our hands, and the dragon has been spawned in. So this barrier block is just a way to like get rid of the dragon again. I'll show you guys in a bit, but when we summon the dragon again, you'll see we spawn in this structure, and the dragon stays in place so that we can get on top of it. So we climb up here and we jump onto the dragon's back, get into the minecart, and as you can see, we have resistance, so we are not getting any damage. So if we just quickly punch out this armor stand or this head, we need to punch that 2 times, and you'll see that it will get destroyed, and we are now flying the dragon. It will look like you're taking damage, but I couldn't get rid of that sadly. But we are straight up controlling the dragon. So as you can see, I'm riding in a minecart. If I turn one direction, it turns along with it. If I turn the other direction, it will also move. And the cool thing about this is it even has elevation control. So if I look up, the dragon will fly upwards, and if I look down, the dragon will also dive back down. And the thing that makes this even cooler is I don't need to stay in the loaded chunks for this command block to work, because I added a ticking area to the system, so I can literally fly this thing anywhere and it will still work. Now, it's great and all, you're flying this, you're basically invulnerable to the world, but say you want to get off, how do you get off? Now, you can either jump out of the minecart or do this, but I just usually do it while still in the minecart. All that you need to do is to drop this barrier block, and as you can see, you'll get back your dragon egg as well as your nether star, and the dragon will be killed, sadly. But yeah, the thing that is kind of annoying a little bit is you'll get 40 levels of XP every time you do this, so you can kind of exploit it like that. But oh no, wait, it's not 40 levels, but you'll get some XP every time you do that. Sadly, I couldn't figure out a way to stop that from happening, and now we have uncollectible XP for some reason. But yeah, so that is pretty much it. So as like I said, the download is in the description. You can download the behavior pack from there and then just place down this little command block over here. So how does this thing work? So let's pop into the editor and I can show you how this setup works. Okay, so to do this, I used this program called Bridge. Now, Bridge is actually supposed to be used to create behavior packs and things like that, but since function files are considered as a behavior pack, you can also do this inside of this program. So if we open up Rideable Dragon and go to Functions, you can see all of our commands are over here. If you don't know what the function file is, basically what it is it's commands like normal commands you use inside of the game, but instead it is inside of a different program. And you can activate them using function space and then the name. So this function file is called dragon, and that's why we type function space dragon to activate this thing. So the reason that I used bridge is because, as you can see, it highlights the syntaxes, and that just makes it a bit easier to see what's going on. And it also has this really cool feature where if I do like give at all, as you can see, it auto completes the command for me. So it does save a lot of time, and especially when you need to copy and paste a bunch of things, it's a lot easier to do it in a text editor format than it is to do inside of command blocks. But but let's start with the command. So when we first activate it, we will do game rule command block output false, and that's just so that you don't get spammed with command block outputs in the chat. And then as you can see here, ticking area add, like I said, we add a ticking area called command block around that command block so that it will always be loaded and that so that you can go anywhere in the world. So this is what happens on startup, and let's move on to the second section. Now, now this second part is basically responsible for summoning and taming the dragon. So we have this execute at entity type equals item name equals nether star. And then, so basically, we just search for the item that has that's called Nether Star, and then we detect if there is a dragon egg one block beneath that item. So that's why the Nether Star needs to be on top of the dragon egg. And I've just realized that I could have probably changed this to um, so that the Nether Star needs to be at the side of the dragon egg. That might have made things a bit easier, but this is how I did it anyways. So, like I was busy saying, we execute at the Nether Star, we check if there is a dragon egg beneath it, and if there is, we will tag the nearest player with the owner tag. And this is just so that we know who owns the dragon, and so that we can so that the dragon will know who is controlling it and how to fly. So as you can see, this execute thing happens pretty much in all of these lines. So I'm going to skip it since it basically does the exact same thing every time. But in the second line over here, we give the owner a barrier block, and we also summon an ender dragon at the location of its egg, and we summon a minecart, and we also summon an armor stand called aim. And this little effect over here, all that it does is it makes the armor stand invisible so that you can just see that dragon head. So into this next section, we we use this full command to basically create that little structure that you saw. So these full commands, they generate that spruce structure so that you can climb on top of the dragon more easily. Since I found out it's quite hard to get on top of the dragon. And these set block commands, they're also part of that structures. As you can see, they do the lanterns. Next up, we will summon another armor stand, and this one will be called Release. So I accidentally mixed up Aim and Release. Aim is responsible for controlling the dragon, and Release is the one that you see with the dragon head on. As you can see in this next time, we equip the armor stand that's called Release with a skull number 5, and that is the Ender Dragon head. Now over here we just make that armor stand invisible once again, and we use this TP command to constantly teleport the armor stand to the location that it is, and that's just to prevent the armor stand from falling to the ground. So basically this is a way to turn off gravity for that one armor stand. In this next line, what we will do is we will teleport the Ender Dragon to that armor stand called Release with a bit of a offset. Now, what this does is this line over here is responsible for keeping the Ender Dragon in place so that you can get on top of it more easily. So that is why when we destroy that armor stand, the dragon will be released from the structure itself. Now, these last two lines in this section, they are basically just responsible for removing the dragon egg by filling air into its place and also killing the nether star item so that you can't just duplicate the nether stars. That brings us onto the third section. Now, this third section is responsible for when we get off of the ender dragon. When so execute at entity type item name equals barrier. So when we find a barrier in the world, we will kill the ender dragon, and we will also kill the armor stand called aim, and we will also kill the minecart that we sit in. And there's basically just we get rid of everything that we spawned in at the stop part over here, and then we just use this give command to give the dragon egg and the nether star back to the player. And then we also kill the item called barrier block so that you don't get a bunch of barrier blocks into your inventory. Now, this last section over here is actually responsible for the flying of the Ender Dragon. So we execute at the entity that has the tag named owner, and there is also a player. Then what we will do is we will teleport the armor stand that's called aim to a location that this location is pretty much just behind and a little bit below the player. This next line we will execute at the Ender Dragon itself, and we will teleport the Ender Dragon um, basically in the opposite direction that the armor stand is. Now, for some reason that I don't have any idea why, the model for the Ender Dragon is actually in reverse. So that's why we have to teleport it to negative zero point 0.5, because if it was zero point 0.5, the Ender Dragon would basically be in reverse for some weird reason that I don't know. But yeah, this next line just teleports the minecart that the player sits in to the Ender Dragon. And then this last line just gives the player the resistance effect so that you don't die. Because as you saw, we did technically take damage while riding the dragon. But thanks to this command over here, we don't really take damage. But sadly, we still get that little knocking effect. So that's kind of sad. And that is basically the commands done. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like and to subscribe if you're new around here. But thanks for watching guys, and I will see all of you again in the future with a brand new video. Bye!